So as expected, the next Star Wars Hunters update with Ranked is coming tomorrow, January 9th. And about 15 minutes ago, as of me recording this, Zynga just drops the latest patch notes. So in this video, I'll be going over all of them because there's a lot of new features and changes. And because there's just so many, I won't necessarily go through everything, but I will link this in the description so you can read it for yourselves. But I will just be going over some of the more important and bigger things. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel to stay fully up to date with all things Star Wars Hunters. So first of all, I just have to say this Sentinel skin looks insane. I love the white sort of dead-like eyes. This is the skin for the ranked play, like highest reward, and I think we've seen this Zayna skin before, but still, this is looking really cool. So yeah, there's the introduction to ranked mode. I won't go over the ranked things really because I did do a video on that the other day, so go and check that out if you haven't already. But ranked is coming through into the game as of tomorrow, which is really exciting. There'll be rewards for it. My biggest concern, honestly, with Ranks, though, is the fact that 4-man teams will just absolutely dominate, which, to be fair, is kind of the case with any game. But I'm just hoping that solo queuing or going on a game with 2 other players or 3 friends or whatever is actually viable, but we will just have to wait and see. Another major change to the game is that gunplay is being updated as well. So there's now going to be overheating of weapons, ammo, weapon spread and recoil, and then increased focused aim capabilities. So Amara Vex, Sentinel, Utuni, Slingshot, Sprocket and Zayna all have blasters, which means that they will overheat after a certain amount of time. And then Diego, Char and Scorer all use essentially bullets, so their guns will have ammo. Now I think it does talk about ammo capacity later on, so I'll go over that real quick as well. But then it also says that there's going to be weapon spread and recoil. Now I don't think I need to explain that to you guys, but this is definitely very interesting. I really wasn't expecting to see this come to Star Wars Hunters, honestly, as it is sort of very much of an arcadey shooter, but it will be very interesting to see how this changes the gameplay. And the fact that Zynga are pushing it through means that they've tested it for a long time and think it's for the best, so we will just have to wait and see. Now, as a result of the spread, recoil and aim stuff, there's been a ton of gameplay balancing to essentially help to balance things out, because if there's weapon spread and recoil, it will ultimately make gunplay harder, which means that they will have to have more damage. So Diego, for example, as he currently stands, 30 damage with 60 critical damage is more than fine for me personally. But obviously if there's spread and recoil and all that, then that will make things harder to aim. So it's now going to 45 to 90. Looks like J3 is getting a bit of a damage buff as well, which I'm not complaining at. Imara has 30 shots for overheat as well. Reeve's getting a damage buff. And then you can just see here that everyone is essentially getting increased damage or lower cooldowns on their abilities and so on, just to essentially counteract this and essentially make melee weapons probably a bit more viable as well. Not that they aren't anyway, but this is easily one of the biggest changes to the gameplay we've ever had with Star Wars Hunters, honestly. So I'm a little bit nervous as the game does feel good anyway, but at the same time I am very excited to see how this impacts the game. So I'll do an update review probably at the end of this week with some brief thoughts about everything, but then I'll go over probably the gameplay in a separate video as well to go a bit more in depth on how I feel about it. But then the thing that I'm honestly most excited for with this update, as well as ranked, is a new map, which is the Vandor Railyard. Now Vandor, for those who don't know, is the map from Solo where they actually go on the train and complete the heist. So you can see the train here, which will go across, and you will be able to get damaged by it, as you can see here with the caution lines. And it looks like there's also some interior stuff as well. Now I really wasn't expecting to see a map from Solo anytime soon, honestly. I thought this game would just launch with original trilogy stuff. So far we've obviously got Tatooine, Endor, Death Star 2 and Hoth. So to see a map from somewhere completely different outside of the original trilogy is honestly such a good sign to see, and hopefully we'll see even more maps from other media in the future as well. But I am very excited to see what this map's like, and thankfully we don't have to wait long to find out. Then we've also got some new game modes as well with dynamic control, which I'm really looking forward to. It's essentially just control, but the control point moves around. So if you've ever played Call of Duty and you've played the mode Hardpoint, this is essentially what the mode looks like it's going to be. It says here that dynamic control is a brand new mode that adds another layer of strategy and tactics to objective gameplay. In dynamic control, squads must compete for rotating control points, hold the control point whilst keeping the opposing squad out of the objective boundaries to score the first team to 100 wins. So normal control is just one control point in the middle of the map and it stays there. Dynamic control point will have a control point for, I don't know, 30 to 40 seconds. We'll find out tomorrow. That will be a lot of fun. Then we've also got a limited time mode called Groz's Boulder Bash, which looks like everyone will play as Groz, and you can only use Groz's ability, which is the throwing of the boulder. So this looks like it will just be a fun bit of chaos, and I think it's really exciting that they're trying to push the game in different ways with these fun little limited time modes, and also adding some really exciting other modes. So I'm definitely keen to give this a try tomorrow on top of everything else, assuming it's there at the very beginning anyway. And as with all things, we have got some new pieces of cosmetics. We've got 70 new items making its way into the game with this update. So there'll be 21 costumes, 23 weapons, 12 avatars, 10 stickers, and 1 victory pose. And as it says here, that not all of them will be available on day one, as some will be released through the Arena Pass, bundles, and events. And that is pretty standard, but I'm really keen to see what all of these skins are. There's also been some Arena Pass changes as well, and it looks like there's a thing called Stellar Tiers now, which if you complete the Battle Pass, Stellar Tiers are something that you can earn additional limited time rewards, which is a little bit like with the Fortnite Battle Pass. When you reach level 100, you then have to go another like 40 levels to be able to unlock additional content, which is essentially just fancy recolors of some of the skins in the earlier pass. So it'll be interesting to see if that's something similar that they are doing with this. And even though it does say limited time here, because the game is still in soft launch, all of this content will be available to everyone else at launch in some way, whether that's in the store, events, bundles, or whatever. This stuff will be available, so I urge you not to worry about missing out. Now, as with all new updates, we're going to be getting a bunch of new events and quests, which is always very exciting to see, because they provide us with a lot of stuff to grind for during the downtime of the game, so I'm really excited to see what rewards we can get from them. And finally, there's just been a bunch of changes to ability upgrades, player reporting, and controller aim assist. There are other bug fixes and performance improvements as well, but they never really put them in the patch notes, which I would hope they do, to be honest, because there are some specific bugs that people have, so it's always useful to know if those have been fixed before playing the game. But regardless, I am very excited for this new update to drop tomorrow. I'll be looking to stream it as soon as possible, and I'll have plenty of content out over the next couple of weeks on this game, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you haven't done so already. Launch hopefully isn't too far away now. That is it from me today. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.